Welcome to the Crazy Cool Family Podcast with Don and Suzanne Manning.
A podcast where we share with you great insights about everything family from over 30 years of parenting 7 kids and over a decade of equipping parents through our Crazy Cool Family ministry.
So let us inspire and equip you to build your best family.
Hello again. We are talking about direction setting for your family.
Purpose is not passive. How to set direction for your family.
Okay, first of all, we're going to talk about family goals in this podcast, but what we'd like you to do is if you didn't listen to the first podcast of 2026, which is actually episode number 326, coincidentally,
which aired on January 7th, if you need that information.
Then we would highly encourage you to go back and listen to that because we set the stage for this podcast. We'll give you a little teaser to get caught up a little bit, a little recap, if you will. But it'd be great if you go back and listen to that podcast, episode 326. So as we go into 327, and what we talked about a little bit in 326 was setting that family goals are kind of the end result. You do personal goals first, and then you do marriage goals next.
As a couple,
yeah. Probably not a good idea to personally set marriage goals. Probably, hey, honey, I've got all our goals for us. Let me read them to you. Probably not a great idea on that one. But I think, and the reason is because with Crazy Cool Family, it's just if you go to our Crazy Cool Family house, the top of it's pursue God. We want to take care of the best thing you can do for your family is to present them the healthiest version of you. And that starts out with personal change. And you're taking the lead. You are saying, hey, I don't want to change you as a child. I'm going to look at me first and change me first.
And lead by example.
And then I'm going to talk about that humbly with my spouse. We're going to bring the ideas together. And then as we do that and we bring marriage unity into place, now the result of that, and now we will have more unity with goals for our family.
Yeah, and I would say this is the fun part.
Yeah.
I mean, you get to be culture creators in your family. You get to have a huge impact in what the family relationships, and then what your home is like, and what 2026 is going to be like for your family. And so what we talked about, and we want to talk about again, is it's either by default or by design what happens, the culture in your home. Society is going to dictate it. All the sporting events, the church events, the school events, that's going to dictate your family. Or you can design it. You can take a minute. You can pull the kids in and you can say, okay, so what are some things that we want for our family with how we're going to interact with each other, with how we're going to spend our time together as a family in 2026?
And again, the goals some people love very specific goals. On Tuesdays, we are going to do this every Tuesday. And some people like more fluffy goals, if you will, that, we're going to and Suzanne are more on the lack of organization side, but more vision. I look at vision versus specific goals. I'll give you an example that one of the things we purposed to do in our family was to have God conversations in our home. Mm-hmm. That was just something, I don't know if it was an annual goal or when it came up or something, but we really talked about just having more God conversations and bringing God into things. Well, that changed our way of life with our family and how we did things. And over time, more and more, it characterizes our family now that there are a lot of God conversations. That's an example of that's not something that said, okay, on January 4th, I'm going to have a God conversation. They don't have to all be like that. They can be more visionary goals. Or if you're more of a specific goal person, then say, hey, every Tuesday at 7, we're going to go on a date, or whatever. We're going to have family time here every Wednesday night. We have a family dinner. That's a family goal. But let it fit your personality. Let the goals fit your personality.
And so when I say have fun with that, like a super practical thing is to gather the family, order pizza or make popcorn, and it's going to be a movie night, and you're going to get a whiteboard or you're going to get a poster board, and everybody's going to brainstorm. Okay, so what are some things we want for our family? So we want a family dinner night. We want to make sure we do that. We want to have Our family, we had nap time every Sunday after church. I mean, that was one of the things that built our culture, that we attended each other's sporting events as much as we could, and so that we had the togetherness. And so let everybody brainstorm what they're going to do. Now, in the last podcast, we talked about a deep dive that we have for you. If you email podcast@crazycoolfamily and ask for the deep dive, give me the deep dive about the direction, give me the deep dive about the new year, give me pretty much anything you say, we're going to send it to you. And it's got a whole section
for free.
Yeah, for free. That's right. Yeah, and just to say that we do sell deep dives on our website.
Yeah, on our Crazy Cool Family site, on our store.
Yeah. But this one, we are so passionate about families getting 2026, making it the best year yet. So all that to say is that we have got some ideas on how to invite your family in, how to connect with them, how to reflect, how to plan ahead, how to do some things that's in that deep dive that you can use as well.
You know, as an example, one of our daughters decided that they would do, one of their goals for the year was to do 1,000 hours outside. And so then out of that, so they said, hey, we're going to do 1,000 hours outside. And then they started making list of things, how they could go outside and what they could do outside.
And they even printed a deal of flower petals, if you will, and they would color in the hours so that they would see how many they've done, just so that they could track it and see it.
And so because that's their style, you know, and that daughter loves being outside, and so she wanted to the value was she wanted her kids to be outside, and she loved being outside, and so she brought them into that goal.
And I was talking to a mom the other day, a young mom at the park the other day, and she was like, I would love to do that, but there's no way. And I was like, you don't have to do all 1,000 hours. Nobody's told the 1,000-hour police are not going to crash in on your life and say you didn't do it. Just set the goal and do what you can. And then I even said, and let's say that you go outside and you don't you're not out there a whole hour because it's too hot. If you're in Texas, there's just months that it's impossible. Or maybe it's too cold or whatever that is. But you went outside for 15, 10, 20, 30 minutes, color in a petal as if it was an hour. And she goes, oh, I would never do that. And I was like, understand the goal is not 1,000 hours. The goal is to get outside as much as you can. And that's the goal.
And to have your kids be excited about it.
Yes, and to have your kids be so excited and to cheer, Mom, we did another hour. We went outside.
And to have them want to get off technology and go outside because they're part of the goal. So as we set family goals, Suzanne has talked about something that's really cool in setting them is involve your family. Another just good thing to do is to make them reasonable, that, don't, and like she was saying with that mom, it's okay if you hit part of it, or it.
Because it's not the goal itself. It's the fruit of the goal. Share the gap and the gain, which you shared.
Well, I was talking about a book that's called that, The Gap and the Gain. And it talks about how we tend to focus on the gap of where we are versus where we want to be. And so therefore we beat ourselves up because we have this high standard for ourselves and we don't make it. But what if you look at the gain? What if you look at
whatever it is you did?
Yeah, that, if you set the 1,000 hours and you only hit 750, gosh, you spent 750 hours that year outside. Mm-hmm. And then maybe there is a motivation that goes in to finish it or not. But either way, nobody's going to remember what you did, and whether you did it, but you'll remember that you did something different that helped your family and helped them become more, than they were before. Okay.
And I just want to encourage you parents. It's never too late. You're not going to miss it. Just start now, have a family meeting now, have a family meeting in February. If you're listening to this in June, have a meeting then, and go ahead and start your vision and your goals and your ideas and your plan for what you want for your family. And I cannot reiterate enough to invite your kids in, because you're going to have so much fun hearing what they say. Your 7-year-old daughter is going to say, I just want us to all play Barbies together more. Or your 10-year-old son's going to say, I just want, and their chances are the majority of their goals are going to be based on spending time with you, because that's what they want more than anything else. And in a childhood, that's what children want. They want time with their parents. And so enjoy their input and enjoy what they have to say. And I just want to encourage you to validate them. Oh, that's a great idea. Oh, I think we should totally do that. Even if you don't write it down as a goal,
right.
Just kind of put that in the back of your head.
And, for example, it brings out the, practical Patty, if you will, that says, well, I don't know if we can do that.
Don't say that. Period. The end. Do not say that. Don't say, I don't know if we can do that. Every idea is the most amazing, incredible idea ever.
Yeah.
From your mouth to their ears, even if you don't do any of them.
Yeah. Which that may be overwhelming to people because you are practical or because you think you have to accomplish everything that you do. But, realize they're kids, and
the world is huge for a kid. Remember when you were a kid and everything was possible.
Well, and just like and Suzanne's talking about them wanting your time. We're in the grandkid stage now, and so the biggest thing my grandkids say to me, and I'm looking at parenting from a grandparent perspective now, is, "Pops, will you play with me?" Mm-hmm. That's it. That's just a simple question. It's, "Pops, will you play with me? Will you play with me?" And I'm like. And, I'm like, "Sure. What are we doing?"
Yeah.
And, "Well, we're going to the playroom and you're going to be, the 3-year-old saying, we're going to the playroom and you're going to be the brother and Everly's going to be the sister and she's a baby." Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Here we go. And that's their idea of fun. That's their idea of, because
it's their idea of work, actually. They literally, their play is their work. It's what they're designed and created to do, so it's all they know. And I mean, true confession, and my children all tell me this, but even looking back, I was a terrible mom. I was a terrible playing with them mom. I'm like, "You've got each other. Go play with each other. I don't need to play with you." I was just head down, get the job done, get the task done. If they wanted to come work with me, if you will, cook, clean, laundry, whatever that is, I would hang out with them all day long. But it's like I had a long to-do list of things to do. And even when the grandkids come now, I will pull them into my world. Very rarely will I join them in their world of play. But Don is beautiful at it. And actually, when we had kids, you were good at it. Don would walk in the door after work, and he would go in the backyard, and he would play with the kids.
Well, I think that there is I'm going to kind of take it a different direction here as well, because I think that there is also, you mentioned that it doesn't matter what season you're in, you can always move forward in setting goals. And so some of it is talking with your family about it. It's also like one of the things that we did a lot, we had to do it with 7 kids, is figure out in this season what we're doing. And if you will plan and set goals, so often parents look up and they've signed their kid up for this and they've signed their kid up for that, and done this and done that. And all of a sudden they are pulling their hair out because they've let the default control them rather than the design. And so we really spent time at the beginning of each season. It's like, okay, this is the fall. What is the fall going to look like? And many times it was like, what, man, this is going to be hard, but these are our choices. And so then when we got in the middle of it, we were able to remember, we chose this, versus we planned this, we, instead of going, "Oh my goodness, how did this happen?" And it didn't cause us as much frustration. But sometimes because of the choices we made, we were able to navigate those seasons better with the 7 kids and not have as much stress in our lives.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up. There's a very fine line between the activities that you pick that are molding and shaping and building your child into who that they need to be, whether they're on a team or it's it's dance or music or art. Those are all valuable things. They're all really good, but there's a very fine line between doing all of that and having that face-to-face, one-on-one or quality family time with them. And you've got to decide what it is that you want. And society by default they want your money and they want your time and they want your children's attention. And so they're out to do that. So you can put your children in the gymnastics and all the different things. But what it's robbing them of is this short amount of time that you have with them, that you get to put your ideas and your the character qualities that you want them to have, the directions, the family time that you want them to have. And so the best way to do that, and the best way is to decide, what does the world get? How much of the world does my kid get? And how much are we going to spend time as a family, is to just ask God, is this a good activity for my child this year? Do we need to spend 20 hours a week at gymnastics? Do we or dance or whatever that is? Is that what's best for them?
Well,
and it might be. I mean, we've had families that have done that, and it did work out very well.
And if you're going to choose that, don't choose something else.
Exactly.
Like maybe it's we're going to play select baseball, and so the spring and the summer are going to be consumed with 10 tournaments and everything we're going to do. Well, don't add a basketball league to that, because select baseball, and I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying that's really consider what you add to it if you're going to do a select sport, for example.
Yeah.
And so you think about it, and we had multiple kids playing sports. So therefore, we couldn't have them do multiple things because we just didn't have the bandwidth for it,
Yeah.
And so things like that and again, that's where the goals come in, because everyone's different.
Yeah.
But that's where you ask God to influence, and that's where you go back to your marriage, is that you ask God together.
Yeah, and the beauty of a new year, if you will, is the blank slate, is lay it all out there, write it all down, ask your kids, do you love basketball? Do you want to be a part of basketball? Do you want to spend this many hours playing basketball? Okay, great, let's do it. Or you know what? They'll be like, no, I was actually only playing because you like basketball. Okay, great, then let's go. Is there something else you want to play? Anyway, back to the family meeting. It's an amazing time if you pull your kids together, and if you're intimidated by that, if you're intimidated by, I don't know, maybe you've never done it before. Maybe you've never had a family meeting where you've got everybody sitting around the table and you're running the show, and maybe you're wondering, okay, I don't even know what to do here. I just want to encourage you to take the first step, to gather them, to have a lot of fun, go around the table, say something nice about everybody. Remember the deposit. We talked about that in the last podcast about saying positive things about your spouse. Say something positive about everybody at the table, and then open it up and say, what do you want the year to look like? What do you want? And that might even be a little bit hard for a younger child. So what's something that you really like? Maybe you could even simplify it a bit. What's something you really like? I really like spaghetti. Okay. I really like hanging out with the family. Okay, great. Let's put those two together. Let's have spaghetti night once a week with the family. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you're going to have so much fun. I wish I could be there. I wish I could be at every single one of your kitchen table or your living room with you as you're having this family meeting, because yeah.
And if you're a person who is not very organized, maybe then the goal is to write it down and to become a little bit more organized. If you're a person that is very organized, maybe your job is just to listen and to chill out a little bit, and to let those less organized people than you, and those less type A's, if you will, or perfectionist, let them just talk a little bit. So, usually what Suzanne's saying, I think, is that when you do this, it may challenge your ways of life, so to speak, and just to have fun with it either way, and to let it push you a little bit, let it challenge you, and let you just have fun with your kids. For example, you could say in that deal, I would love it for 2026 to be a year when we encourage one another.
Yes.
Okay. So,
yes.
And okay, what would that look like? Well, okay, Dad, let's get a jar, and every time when somebody encourages somebody, we put a note in there, and then we see who has the most notes at the end of the. I'm thinking these are super just ideas.
Well, Pinterest has several ideas if you need to go check that out. Yes.
But you'd be amazed at what happens when you just, for example, your 7-year-old may not have their own idea. Launch one and just see if the 7-year-old and the 9-year-old take it, or whatever they do, and how they interact with it, or whatever. And then it's amazing what happens when you do these the family vision, if you will, the family goals. And it also just helps you to connect with your kids. Kids want to be seen, heard, known, loved. When we talk to them about what they want out of, and to get their ideas and their input, we are building unity. We're building buy-in, building so many things in our family.
Yeah. And so As we wrap up, I'm going to plug the deep dive one more time. Inside it, it's got challenge goals, and it's got goals for being outdoor, goals with people, physical goals, learning, media, travel, faith. And so just to not, I mean, maybe one of those goals resonate with you and you want to use them, but it's to spur your thought processes and spur your kids' thought processes. Because if you've never had a family meeting before, they're going to love it, but they also are going to not know what's happening. And so if you come with some ideas, if you come with a plan, like what could do this, or if you come with some examples, or what about this, or what about this, then you're going to get their little brains going, their little wheels turning, and you're going to have a fruitful family meeting.
Podcast at crazycoolfamily.com. It's a 25-page PDF for free. It's very well done. I can say that because I didn't write a word of it. And so,
actually, you did. You wrote a whole list of books that you would recommend for somebody to read.
Oh, I did contribute to it. So good, because I'm not a writer of this one. And so, but anyway, it's amazing, and we want to give it to you. We want you to. Okay, here's what we want for you. We want you to just make a stab at starting your new year off with some vision. Just make a stab at it. Just try something, and we've talked about, if you listen to the last podcast, we talk about your own personal goals, your marriage goals. Today we talked about your family goals. Make a stab at one of them. Make a stab at all of them. Just do something and get the free PDF. And let's help you start your 2026. Suzanne and I are also challenged ourselves. We've done some of these things, but we certainly haven't done them all. And so we got a little work to do ourselves. And we just want to, all of us, again, we go back to what we started the first podcast with about this. We want 2026 to be your best year yet.
Yes.
And when it happens more by design and less by default, then you will see your year improve. And however you're wired, do it according to that and figure out whether it's a visionary goal or a specific goal or a short term or a long term, but just involve your family, involve your spouse, and watch and involve God too, for sure, and watch what he does.
Yep. Take captive this new year that we've been gifted.
Yeah, we want to see lots and lots of emails coming in and saying, give me my free deep dive on setting direction. So we hope this has been inspiring to you, and we hope it's been a great investment of your time, and we want you to keep on investing in your family. So go be crazy, crazycoolfamily.com.
Happy New Year!